Judge Epperson. We're here for initial appearances, and I know that you've watched the video explaining the purpose of this hearing, so we'll just get started. Let me begin by having personnel from the State Attorney's Office and Public Defender's Office identify themselves on the record. State.
Justin Collins, about the state of Florida, Your Honor.
And Public Defender's Office.
Edward Lopez on behalf of the Public Defender's Office. Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lopez, and from pretrial release.
Patricia Jenkins, pretrial release.
Okay, let's get started. We'll begin with the cases involving the Spanish interpreter. Let me call the interpreter. Beginning with Jose Gallego Vega, can come forward.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, certified Spanish interpreter, previously sworn.
All right, Ms. Bretaña, we're doing initial appearances, of course, beginning with Jose Gallego Vega, case numbers 23 CT 1356, 1358, 1359. Mr. Gallego Vega, I find probable cause for the listed traffic offenses of driving while license suspended, no motor vehicle registration, and attaching tag not assigned.
Señor Gallego Vega, determino que existen indicios de criminalidad ante las acusaciones antes mencionadas de tránsito, conducir con la licencia suspendida, sin matriculación del vehículo y con una tablilla que no estaba designada al vehículo.
The public defender is appointed to represent you in these matters.
Se ha designado al abogado de oficio para que les represente.
The bonds will remain as they're presently set, 500 count 1, 250 counts 2 and 3, aggregate 1,000.
Las fianzas permanecerán tal cual, $500 cargo número 1, $250 cargo número 2 y 3 y $1,000 adicionales.
Next court date.
La fecha de la próxima audiencia.
And 23 CT 1356, March 30th, if in jail.
Para el caso 23 CT 1356 será el 30 de marzo si aún se encuentra en la cárcel.
And if out of custody, April 17.
17 de abril si se encuentra en libertad.
And that will be the same for all three cases.
Esas son las fechas para los otros casos también.
All right, thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
Turning next to Paola Garcia Mendoza, case 23 MM 659. All right, Ms. Garcia Mendoza, I will appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. I find probable cause for battery domestic.
Muy bien, señora García Mendoza, se designa el abogado de oficio para que le represente. Determino que existen indicios de criminalidad ante esta acusación de agresión física por violencia doméstica.
Setting bond at $1,000. Should you make bond, you're to have no contact with Luis Daniel Rosino.
Se concede fianza por la cantidad de $1,000. Si presta la fianza, se le prohíbe todo tipo de contacto con el señor Luis Daniel Rosino.
Until further order of the court, you must not return to 2910 Summer Green Trail in Kissimmee.
Hasta que lo autorice un juzgado, se le prohíbe regresar al 2910 Summer Green Trail en Kissimmee.
If you have personal belongings at that location, such as clothing, toiletries, I'll grant a one-time return with the assistance of law enforcement.
Si usted tiene pertenencias en ese lugar, como ropa o artículos de higiene personal, se le permitirá regresar en una ocasión acompañada de las autoridades para recoger sus pertenencias.
You must not possess any weapons or firearms.
Se le prohíbe la tenencia de todo tipo de armas y armas de fuego.
Your next court date,
La fecha de la próxima audiencia será,
you'll receive.
se le informará posteriormente.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Ronnie Trujillo Hernandez, case 23 CF 897. I'll let you announce it. PD, I don't know. Public defender appointed.
Se ha designado el abogado de oficio.
Mr. Trujillo Hernandez, I find probable cause for the 4 listed charges.
Señor Trujillo Hernández, determinó que existen indicios de criminalidad ante los 4 cargos de los que se le acusa.
Possession of counterfeit title, misuse of temporary tag, violation of non-resident exemption, and attaching tag not assigned,
tenencia de un título falsificado y tablilla, utilizar una tablilla que no estaba designada al vehículo y no cumplir con los requisitos de no residente.
bonds will remain as set, $2,500 count one, $500 counts 2 and 3, $250 count 4, total $3,750.
Las fianzas permanecen tal cual. Cargo número 1, $2,500. Cargo número 2, $500. Cargo número 3, $500. Y cargo número 4, $250 para un total de $3,750.
Next court date you'll receive.
La fecha de la próxima audiencia se anunciará posteriormente.
Isaac Blanco.
Your Honor, we will be waiving Mr. Blanco's appearance.
Okay. Mr. Blanco's appearance is waived in 23 CF 869, 23 CF 871, 23 CF 872. The court's already found probable cause. These were arrests based on a warrant. The bonds will remain as they are set in each warrant. No changes to bond or conditions which are articulated. One moment. Yep, that's fine. All right, next case, Angel or Angel Saldana.
Your Honor, defense will be waiving his appearance as well.
Appearance is waived in 23 CF 875, 876, 877. In these cases as well, bonds will remain as they are designated in the warrants, as well as the conditions that are articulated. Yoandi Dopico Reyes. This is case number 23 CF 880. All right, in these matters, I gave the state 24 hours to supplement the record. I'll hear from the state using the microphone, of course.
En este asunto se le concedió a la Fiscalía 24 horas para que suplementara el expediente, así que ahora le cedemos la palabra a la Fiscalía.
Your Honor, this time the state doesn't have any additional information. The state did make good faith attempts, efforts to reach out to the law enforcement officer in the sheriff's office, but at this time the state doesn't have any additional information for the court.
En este momento la Fiscalía no tiene información adicional que brindarle a este juzgado. Nosotros hicimos los esfuerzos de buena fe para tratar de comunicarnos con el agente de la policía, pero no tuvimos éxito, no tenemos información adicional en este momento.
In 23 CF 880, Yoandi Dopico Reyes will be released on his own recognizance.
En cuanto al caso 23 CF 880, el señor Giovanni Dopico Reyes será puesto en libertad bajo caución juratoria.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Next case, Osmani Rodriguez Hernandez, 23 CF 881, same situation, state, same.
Same thing, Your Honor.
En el caso 23 CF 881 tenemos la misma situación. Le pregunto a la Fiscalía, ¿es la misma situación de la parte de ellos? Sí.
In 23 CF 881, defendant will be released on his own recognizance.
En cuanto al caso 23 CF 881, el acusado será puesto en libertad bajo caución juratoria.
No PC on this case or the previous case based upon the reasons articulated yesterday.
Por las razones que se articularon en el día de ayer, no se determina que existan indicios de criminalidad ni en este caso ni en el caso anterior.
Thank you.
Gracias.
I believe that might conclude our need for the interpreter, but just want to verify.
Your Honor, I have a couple more.
Okay.
The first one would be Ralph Diaz.
Okay, Mr. Diaz can come forward.
Defense would be waiving the reading of his charges. I did speak with him. He understands that out of court.
All right, Mr. Ralph Diaz, outstanding warrant, defendant's been arrested on warrants out of Palm Beach County. Bond is 0, will remain 0. Palm Beach will be notified of his availability for pickup.
Muy bien, entonces en el caso del señor Díaz ha sido puesto bajo arresto por una orden proveniente del condado de Palm Beach. No se le ha concedido fianza, permanece sin fianza y se le notificará al condado que él se encuentra aquí.
Thank you.
Gracias.
And Mr. Lopez, the other one?
Yes, Your Honor. I have Mr. Lopez Velasquez Angel.
Okay, Angel Lopez Velasquez, case numbers 23 CF 831, 22 CF 1531.
Defense will be waiving the reading of the charges as well.
All right, first of all, in case 23 CF 831, defendant's been arrested on an outstanding warrant, 5 listed charges.
Muy bien, entonces en cuanto al caso 23CF831, el acusado ha sido puesto bajo arresto ante una orden de arresto en su contra, en la cual constan 5 cargos.
Setting bond at $2,000 in each count for an aggregate of $10,000.
La fianza es de $2,000 cada cargo para un total de $10,000.
Upon release, defendant must comply with all reporting requirements.
Luego de ser puesto en libertad, el acusado tendrá que cumplir con todos los requisitos de reportarse.
Another case, 22 CF 1531, defendant has been arrested with a zero bond warrant for failure to appear for pretrial in front of Judge Wilson.
En cuanto al caso 22CF1531, el acusado fue puesto bajo arresto ante una orden de arresto en la cual se solicita prisión preventiva por falta de comparecencia en una vista preparatoria ante la juez Wilson.
That bond will remain zero. The public defenders appointed on both cases.
La prisión preventiva se mantiene, se designa el abogado de oficio para que les represente en ambos casos.
All right, thank you.
Gracias.
And does that conclude our need for the interpreter?
Your Honor, I believe we have a couple more.
Okay.
The next one would be Nader Jaramillo.
Okay, George Isaac Nader Aramillo, not sure how you say that. 23 MM 390. Sir, can you please tell me your name?
Señor, por favor, dígame su nombre completo. Jorge Isaac Nader Jaramillo.
You've been arrested for failing to appear at an arraignment in case 23 MM 390. You do have a bond. It's $1,000. And your next court date?
Is March 30th if in custody and April 17th if out of custody.
Señor, usted fue puesto bajo arresto por falta de comparecencia a la vista incoatoria. Se le ha concedido una fianza de $1,000. En este caso, la fecha de la próxima audiencia será el 30 de marzo si se encuentra aún en la cárcel, si está en libertad el 17 de abril.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Mr. Lopez?
And I have one last one, Your Honor. It's going to be Mr. Rivera Mercado.
Okay.
And defense will be requesting a waiver of reading of his charges.
Okay, this is case 23 CF 884, Yoshilef Rivera Mercado. Public defender appointed.
Se ha designado el abogado de oficio.
Right, this is a matter, Mr. Rivera Mercado, in which you've been arrested on a warrant for which a court has already found probable cause for the 2 listed charges.
Señor, usted fue puesto bajo arresto con una orden de arresto en su contra, en la cual el juzgado ya había determinado previamente que existían indicios de criminalidad para los 2 cargos de los cuales se le acusa.
Because count 1 is what we refer to as a PBL, meaning potentially punishable by life, and the court will not have a hearing today to determine whether or not the proof of guilt is evident and the presumption great. Your bond will remain at 0 on count 1.
Señor, el cargo número 1 de su acusación es un cargo que podría acarrear cadena perpetua. Como hoy no tenemos tiempo para celebrar una audiencia y determinar si la prueba de culpabilidad es evidente o la presunción de culpabilidad contundente, se sostendrá la prisión preventiva en cuanto al cargo número 1.
On count 2, your bond will be $5,000.
En cuanto al cargo número 2, la fianza es de $5,000.
You're to have no contact whatsoever with Mia Rivera.
Se le prohíbe todo tipo de contacto con Mia Rivera.
You must not return to 4605 Osceola Point Trail in Kissimmee, Florida.
Se le prohíbe regresar al 4605 Osceola Point Trail en Kissimmee, Florida.
Your next court date will be provided.
La fecha de la próxima audiencia se le informará posteriormente.
On demand.
You'll receive it.
Se le informará.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Gracias.
I have one more individual that was just brought in,
Okay.
Mr. Marcelo Marin.
All right. Gianfranco Marcelo Marin. All right, good afternoon, sir.
Buenas tardes, señor.
I will appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter.
Se designa el abogado de oficio para que les represente en este caso.
Court finds probable cause for the driving while license suspended with knowledge. Your bond will be $500.
Se determina que existen indicios de criminalidad para su arresto por conducir manifiestamente con la licencia suspendida. La fianza es de $500.
Your next court date
It's March 30th if in custody and April 21st if out of custody.
La fecha de la próxima audiencia será el 30 de marzo si permanece aún en prisión o el 21 de abril si está en libertad.
and the public defender has been appointed.
Se ha designado el abogado de oficio.
Thank you.
Gracias.
And Mr. Lopez, can I excuse the interpreter? All right, thank you, Madam Interpreter. We'll excuse.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Christopher Chesser. All right. All right, hello, Mr. Chesser. I'm doing fine, thank you. You've been arrested on an outstanding warrant for which another court has already found probable cause. Just a moment. Ms. Jenkins, criminal history?
From 2008 to 2013, notice to appear, battery, VOP, battery DV, burglary with assault, battery, cruelty towards a child, 2014, 2018, battery, dealing in stolen property, fraud, grand theft, dealing in stolen property, contempt of court, 2021, aggravated battery on a pregnant female, and 2022, battery DV, and 2022, out of Orange County, battery felony. I think that's an open case. 2023, he had a VOP for battery out of Levy County in violation of domestic injunction. And he have, an open case, he out on bond in 20 CF 9299, burglary of a conveyance with battery, aggravated battery on a pregnant person.
All right, in case 23 MM 256, this is the matter that you were arrested on the warrant, setting your bond in the amount of $10,000. Should you make bond, you're to have no contact with Taylor Dean, not to return to 2711 Barnsley Lake in Kissimmee, must abide by all injunctions that are in place. And because the probable cause was for an alleged offense which occurred while you were out on bond in 20 CF 9299, your bond is revoked in 20 CF 9299, and you'll be held on zero bond in that case. That is a case in this circuit, so your counsel can talk with you about that and perhaps seeking relief in front of Judge Weiss. Your next court date, Madam Clerk, you'll receive. Thank you. Also not to possess any weapons or firearms. All right, thank you. Earl McCrae. All right, Mr. McCrae, good afternoon. I will appoint the public defender to your paperwork indicates that you believe that you can hire your own attorney, is that right? Yeah. Okay. You've been arrested on an outstanding warrant. Judge Beamer set bond at 0. This is for a failure to appear in case 22 CF 3013 for an arraignment on a possession of methamphetamine case. And your next, it'll remain 0 at this time. Your next court date will be announced.
April 3rd.
April 3rd. Thank you. What time, do you know? I don't know if you have a time there. April.
Oh, at 8:45.
8:45 a.m. on April 3rd. All right, thanks. Norman Vaughn. All right, Mr. Vaughn, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I will appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. You've been arrested on an alleged violation of probation in case 21 CF 596. The issuing court, Judge Beamer, set your bond at 0. It will remain 0 at this time, and your next court date will be announced.
April 3rd at 8:45 a.m.
April 3rd at 8:45. Thank you. Lorenzo Bennett, and I believe Ms. Leah Solo is present in the courtroom and can hear and see what's taking place. And I'll come to that in just a moment. Where is Ms. Solo? Okay. All right, 23 MM 658, the Public Defender's Office will be appointed, Mr. Bennett, to represent you in this matter. I have reviewed the police report, and I do find probable cause. Before determining bond or any conditions of release, State, do you know whether or not Ms. Solo wishes to be heard today?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Solo, do you wish to say anything to the court today? It's up to you. Okay. All right, Ms. Jenkins, history?
Your Honor, he has no history.
No history? All right. All right, also count 2, resisting an officer without violence. The court finds probable cause. So on count 1, battery, I'm setting your bond in the amount of $750. Count 2 will remain $500. Should you make bond, it'll be bond with pretrial release supervision. You're to have no contact until further order of the court. You're to have no contact with Leah Solo. Also, you must not return to 2378 Flamingo Lakes Drive in Kissimmee. Now, if you have personal belongings there, such as clothing, toiletries, things for work, I would grant a one-time return with the assistance of the sheriff's office. No contact, of course, means none. No emails, no phone calls, no third-party communications. Your next court date, Madam Clerk, you'll receive. Thank you.
Your Honor, the state would also respectfully ask no weapons or firearms.
That's reasonable. No weapons or firearms until further order of the court to be in your possession. Thank you. Edwin Burgos.
Your Honor, defense will be requesting a reset. Mr. Burgos is currently detoxing.
Okay, we'll reset Mr. Burgos until he's available. All right, reset until available. Tara Karofix. Probably said that wrong. Public defender appointed. All right, good morning. Can you please tell me your name?
Tara Korovitz.
Oh, okay. All right, Ms. Karovix, I've reviewed the police report. I do find probable cause for petty theft. The public defender is appointed. Ms. Jenkins, history?
9/2022 aggravated battery. She was found guilty on that, the 3rd of this month. She have no other history, Your Honor.
What was the date of the conviction, if you have it?
3/2/2023.
She must have been put on probation. If there was a conviction. 3/2/23.
Your Honor, I believe that case was dropped after my conversation with Ms. Karovix. I believe that case was dropped, but I'm not sure.
All right, defendant qualifies for direct PTR?
Yes, sir.
State have any position on the direct PTR prospect?
One moment, Your Honor. They would object, Your Honor. The case that everyone's talking about actually was pled out to a simple battery. She literally just pled out, literally on March 2nd, 2023, and now it's picked up this case, basically.
I'm wondering, Mr. Lopez, what might have led you to the conclusion that it was dropped?
Your Honor, with conversations that I had with Ms. Korovics, she informed me that the aggravated battery was dropped. I did not understand that if she pled to a simple battery.
Okay, potential for confusion there. Thanks.
And just so the court aware, adjudication was withheld in that case, Your Honor.
What was the sentence?
I apologize, Your Honor. It was out of Orange County. It looks like the name was misspelled. That's why I wasn't prepared for it. I just want to confirm it, Your Honor. It looks like it was a credit time serve offer. Confirming that now.
All right, Ms. Korovics, state has objected. That's noted for the record. I'm going to go ahead and place you on direct pretrial release supervision. You must comply with all of pretrial release supervision's rules, of course. Make sure if you move, change your address or phone number, that you update the appropriate entities. And your next court date, Madam Clerk? You'll receive your next court date. Thank you. Robert Langford, Public Defender appointed.
Present, Your Honor.
All right, hello, Mr. Langford. You can come to the podium there. I'm open to hearing any arguments from either the state or defense on whether there's probable cause for the three listed offenses.
The defense would argue that the written threats to kill or do bodily harm of another. Firstly, the accusation is that a message was sent through Facebook via someone else's account, not through Mr. Langford's account. Secondly, the allegations themselves do not amount to a written threat to kill or do bodily harm. Those are the two arguments that I have at this time.
Your Honor, I was prepared for these arguments. Basically, the last line almost basically is, if you never speak to her that way again, if I have to break your fucking jaw. Right there, that's great bodily harm, Your Honor, the state would argue. The next part is, this was confirmed. Yes, I do know defense's argument that it was through someone else's account, but when the defendant was talked to by law enforcement, he confirmed that it was actually him who sent the text messages through it. Thus, for the probable cause would arise on the written threats to kill, Your Honor.
Okay. Certainly breaking a jaw would be a threat to do bodily harm. However, the text itself is conditional. At least that's to me, that's the most reasonable and fair reading of it, as evidenced by the if in front of it. And so it's not sufficiently direct to satisfy the statute in the court's view, nor is the trespass, because the report indicates that the defendant was at the location with consent. And while one may read the whole document and infer that that consent was withdrawn, it doesn't explicitly say that. I'll let you be heard in a second again. And then finally, because of those two factors, if that's the case, then the resisting without violence would be infirm based upon the no duty on the part of the defendant to come downstairs. Counsel for the state?
The only argument I would make, Your Honor, is resisting. I understand your argument, Your Honor, with regards to the trespass and the kind of case law that follows that. The state would respectfully argue, however, it's an arrest or an investigation. Law enforcement was there, responding to an investigation, a complaint. They ordered the defendant to come downstairs multiple times, up to over an hour. I do know there's case law on point that talks about that and the delay and stuff like that. That goes to the resisting part, Your Honor, that I would say argue that there's probable cause there that he's resisting. They're an investigation. They're there, they're even complying with that. They've ordered him to come downstairs, but for safety reasons, they can't go up because they don't know if there's weapons, arms, anything like that. They're ordering him to come down. He's basically refusing to comply with lawful commands, and therefore the state would respectfully argue that that is resisting arrest.
Any response, Mr. Lopez?
Yes, Your Honor. In the four corners of the document, Mr. Langford actually stated that he was asleep while everything was occurring, so that would go towards the resisting if the court does find that the prior prong of officers being within a lawful duty do apply. Mr. Langford, as well as the other individual that's named in the police report, were both reported to being asleep and not hearing the officer.
You gotta tell me someone said it, I'm up here, right? All right, but you can say it, I mean,
They would just respectfully argue, Your Honor,
Yeah.
there's a male voice. The only male that was upstairs was the defendant that says, I'm up here, and that goes against to the weight. And then again, these are in the eyes of a reasonable officer, given the stance and objective standpoint of a reasonable officer, Your Honor. He's giving lawful commands, he keeps giving those commands. They're not being complied. There's only one male upstairs, one male voice that comes back, says, I'm up here. And therefore, I respectfully would argue that it's resisting arrest without violence, Your Honor.
one of the elements of resisting is that the defendant would have known it was a law enforcement officer who was giving him the command. What is there in the affidavit that would indicate someone in another room knew it was law enforcement?
One moment, Your Honor.
He just says, I called out to the voice I heard to come downstairs due to officer safety reasons. That's not clear that he said,
Respectfully,
right?
I'm not going to waste the court's
Right,
time.
okay.
I was trying to see if there was anywhere in the affidavit that said, law enforcement.
Right. All right, well, while I certainly don't find I don't necessarily find the actions of the officer to be unreasonable, there's an affirmative necessity of the probable cause being articulated sufficiently in the affidavit, and because it's not, I am going to go ahead and ROR the defendant in this particular case. Mr. Langford, this does not mean the state is not going to prosecute these matters. It just means that the existing information is not sufficient to keep you in custody. So make sure that if you change your address, the appropriate entities are notified. Thank you.
I would like to warn the defendant, he has been trespassed from that residence, Your Honor, by the affidavit saying that he did not want him there.
Mr. Lopez can pass that along if he wishes. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Elias Santana.
Your Honor, defense will be requesting a 24-hour reset. There's currently, Mr. Santana is currently going through a medical emergency, so we would be requesting a 24-hour reset.
Okay, we'll reset Mr. Santana for tomorrow. And then lastly, David Loshaw.
Your Honor, defense will be requesting a reset. Mr. Loshaw is still going through detox.
All right, let's have him docketed when he's available.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I believe that might conclude our matters.
It does, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lopez. Thank you, State. And we'll go be in recess as far as the jail's concerned. All right. All right, now we have pretrial conferences that are scheduled at 1:30, and we're going to need to have a transition here between our trial clerk and our initial appearance clerk. So that'll be 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll get started. I'll sign whatever I need to. Thanks.
Sir, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Javante Thomas.
Mr. Thomas, this is 23MM204. You were arrested for trespassing and for possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Was there an offer conveyed for Mr. Thomas?
Yes, Your Honor, there was. And the offer conveyed by the state was an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, no return to the Circle K.
All right. Mr. Thomas, did you want to accept that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And did you have an opportunity to review that plea form, sir?
Yes, this one.
Mr. Thomas, did you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up on the form?
No, ma'am.
Are you currently on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the county jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You cannot return to the Circle K. You will need to pay court costs. Those are due 1 year from today, or see the clerk of the court for a payment plan.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you.
Good luck. Mr. Ball?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Ball, this is 20 CF 13931. You failed to appear for court, sir, on October 18th of 2022. At this time, your bond is set at none. I will appoint the public defender to represent you if they were not previously appointed.
What,
Thank you.
I don't know what that means.
Well, you don't currently have a
Wait.
bond.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to have your lawyer file a bond motion in Division 16. And if the public defender wasn't representing you before, they are now.
That's what we talked about back
And Your Honor, I think he also has a Dwellis case.
Thank you, Megan. All right. Then this is also, you have 23 CT 2031. You were arrested for driving while license suspended. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender in that matter as well, and your bond is $500 in that case.
Okay. Can I give you some insight on why I missed the court date?
Well, that's something, I can't modify this judge's bench warrant, so that's definitely good information, but you need to tell that to your lawyer so they can file the bond motion. It's definitely gonna be something you're gonna wanna let them know,
Okay.
okay? Thank you, sir.
And they can work on everything. This with you.
Oh, Khalil. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Khalil Bouncing.
Mr. Bouncy, this is 23 CF 3703. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond, sir, is $1,000. I'm not going to take any action on your out on bond case, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Look with everything, okay? Mm-hmm.
How about Bodicher Bramwell?
I think it's.
Oh, the arraignment?
Now. Siska?
It's Mr. Siska? All right, come forward, sir.
Hi there. Hi, Judge.
Mr. Siska, this is 23MM94. This is your arraignment for the offenses of trespass in an occupied structure, resisting officer without violence, and criminal mischief. You are represented by the public defender. How would he like to proceed?
Your Honor, we'd enter a plea of not guilty at this time.
Okay. We're going to give you a court date in Division 81, Mr. Siska.
Pre-trial conference is April the 14th at 9 a.m. Courtroom 6B.
Was there not an offer relayed to Mr. Siska?
I believe there's no plea offer on this one, Your Honor.
There was no offer, Your Honor. The criminal mischief was to a police car, and I just needed some more information before I could relay an offer.
Does he have anything else holding him here?
No, this is the only case he's here on, and he doesn't have any details.
Just a restitution issue?
It's not a restitution, well, not so much that, I would have just reserved and ordered, but there's also, he has 2 other criminal mischiefs, and I think they are trying to see if it can be enhanced, Your Honor, as well.
Trying to see my dad who just died.
Is criminal mischief an enhanceable offense? I guess,
Well, they were looking into it.
I don't know. I thought it was just based on the damage. Just want to look.
So the third motion was denied because the information was filed. So you're here for the arraignment because the information got filed, okay?
My dad just died.
And so again, it's not,
It is. Under 1A4. Wasn't that I didn't believe you, Miss Eugene, I just
It's
wasn't
okay.
familiar with it and I wanted to read
It
it.
really is okay.
Okay, so we will give him the court date in Division 81.
Your Honor, may I get time served? I've been here for 40 days. My dad just died. I'm gonna see.
So at this time, the state has not made an offer. So Mr. Siska, based upon the information the state has given me, the allegations are that the damage was to a police car. They don't have the restitution amount. I've been told you may have some criminal history, that the state's just not willing to make an offer. I don't have enough information about the entirety of the case today. And so I don't know what would be an
The release
appropriate
date?
resolution. I don't know if 41 days is appropriate or not. So you can certainly get in touch with your lawyer and see if they
I'll
can talk
be in
to,
here for another month.
pardon me?
Be in here for another month before I get a court date.
Well, I'm not saying you have to wait for a court date. What I'm saying is you can talk to your lawyer and see if they can get your court date moved up or get you in. This is Division 81. But like I said, so I don't have enough information that I would be comfortable making the agreement right now. So
Can I
I'm
have a-
gonna leave it as
Can I
that.
have a
Thank you,
plea
sir.
offer?
You'll have to talk to your attorney downtown, okay? So
How do I talk to him?
you can call them, you can jail mail them, but you'll have to
Do I
let them
still
know.
have a bond?
You should. I haven't made any modifications to your bond.
Do you have the bond amount so I can write it down?
Did my,
It's 100, 1,000, and 100.
101,000?
1,000 and 100, yeah.
You said
1,000
trespassing?
total.
Pardon me?
you said trespassing, not stalking?
Correct.
I wasn't trespassing.
It's okay. You'll talk to your attorney about it. Good luck.
Mr. Bonacher Bromwell, is that correct?
Yes.
Sir, this is 23 MM1941. You were arrested for trespassing. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer for Mr. Bromwell?
Your Honor, there was an offer of adjudication of guilt 5 days in Orange County Jail, no return to Orlando International Airport. I believe that, you don't want to take the offer today?
No.
He does not wish to resolve it today, Your Honor.
No problem. Mr. Bromwell, at this time, I will state your bond at $500. You're not to return to the Orlando International Airport unless you have a purchased flight to go somewhere, and then I will take no action on your out on bond case. Thank you, sir.
Any questions? So you have a bond of $500. You can bond out if you're able to afford that, and then your case is still pending resolution at this time. Until you bond out, until a 33-day motion happens, or until you resolve your case. Just making sure you, okay. Take this with you so you can stay in touch.
Your Honor?
Yes.
With regard to 23 MM1954, possession of drug paraphernalia, state announces a no information.
Okay, Mr. Charles will be released as to that case then. Ms. Diaz? Ms. Diaz?
Natalie Diaz Ayas. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. This is 23 MM1962. You were arrested for entering or remaining in a place for prostitution and for prostitution. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, you are not to return to the scene. I'm going to set your bond on count 1 at $500. I'm gonna ROR you as to count 2. And I'm not gonna take any action on your out on bond case. On this, driving while license suspended case, let me look at that case.
Make sure you don't say anything.
Ms. Diaz, have you gone to court on that driving while license suspended case
Yes, I
yet?
do have a court coming up soon, and I will be resolving that matter.
You'll what?
I will be resolving that matter. Like, they, so the citation was one thing, and then I was told I needed to take care of some court fees in order to be able to reinstate that as well.
You're
So
trying to get your driver's license?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Just punch nothing. Okay, so I'm not gonna take any action on it today then, so you can continue to get your driver's license and then,
Yes, thank you.
okay, thank you. You're all set.
This with you?
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Jeremy Horn.
Mr. Horn, you are here in 23 MM 1958. You were arrested for petty theft. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Was there an offer on this case?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Horn, at this time, I am going to release you on your own recognizance. You're not to return to Domino's. And you must appear at all court dates, sir. Do you understand? Okay, they're gonna give you that date when you leave the jail today. Just make sure you reappear back in court. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Now stay in touch with us when a court date. Just because there's none now doesn't mean there won't be some. Luck. Is there two?
On
Never
Mr.
mind, I might be
Swift,
mixing it up.
Megan? Can't verify community ties.
Yeah, he didn't provide us with anything that we could,
All right.
no
Miss-
address or.
Mr. Swift, good afternoon. Sir, this is 23 MM 133. You were arrested for battery. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I wanted to place you on pretrial release, but I didn't have enough information to be able to see if you qualify. Where are you currently living, sir?
I'm staying with friends and family right now. I'm working on getting an apartment 'cause I just turned 19. My birthday was March 3rd.
Okay.
My own apartment.
Okay. Where do you stay in Orlando?
Where, like in Orlando? Oh, I stay in Altima Springs.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have an address that you can provide to?
804 Little Wakaiwa Drive. That's where I stay at.
All right.
Just put it on the paper if they do.
I see it here. And do you have a phone number?
404-552-4495.
Okay. Are you currently in school?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a senior. I got 4 credits left to graduate.
You go to Sheeler High School?
Now I gotta go to Elevation. Yes, ma'am.
Megan, what else do I need to know?
It just doesn't match up with anything he gave us, so we'd probably want to actually verify some of that. 'cause
Okay.
It's not what he gave us.
Sure. So, Mr. Swift, I'm going to order that you are not to have any contact with the victim and that you're not to possess any weapons or firearms and you're not to return to the scene. You told me you don't go to Sheeler High School, correct?
Yes, ma'am. No more.
Okay. And I'm going to set bond at $500 or PTR if you qualify. Okay?
PTR.
It's pretrial release. So instead of having to post the bond, they'll monitor you in the community while your case is pending in the court system.
So when can I bond?
You could post your bond now if you wanted to.
How could I do that?
You'll have to talk to a bondsman or a family member and get them to help you with that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Walker?
My bad.
Mr. Walker, you were arrested in 23 MM 132 for battery. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. And you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Are you a student at Sheeler High School?
I was, but they trespassed for me not to go there no more, and they're switching me to elevation. Over there by State Road 1792, I think. In
Okay, sure.
Sumner County, next by the.
Okay, so I'm gonna order that you're not to return to Sheeler High School.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but I am gonna revoke your bond in 23 CF 947. That bond's gonna be set at none.
You said what, ma'am? My
You
bad.
don't have a bond on your open grand theft of a motor vehicle case.
You got revoked?
Yes,
Your Honor, what was the bond on this case?
it's 500.
You'll have to talk to.
Thank you, sir.
When that your bond got revoked, you'll have to talk to your attorney about that. So contact them, they'll talk to you.
Good afternoon, are you Mr. White?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. White, this is 23 MM 205. You were arrested for resisting officer without violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Your Honor, I apologize. There is an offer in this case. I did not have an opportunity to convey this one, though. It is an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served if this is Rodney White.
Yes, it is. Mr. White, did you want to accept that offer today?
Sir. Sound good.
Yes? So, Mr. White, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and I need you to answer them out loud for me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by entering into this plea today that you are giving up your right to have a trial by a jury?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that you will not be able to present any evidence, witnesses, or defenses on your own behalf?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you on probation?
Not at the moment.
Pardon me?
Probation.
You're not? Mr. White, are we on the same page?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay. And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days, 1 day in jail with credit for 1 day time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due 1 year from today, or you need to see the.
Your Honor, I apologize. I just looked at the face sheet. It does appear that he's on probation.
Oh.
I'd want to double check and confirm that
Oh.
for sure.
Yeah, I can double check as well, but it does look like until 2025 he is. But I'll double check as well.
All right. Mr. White? Unfortunately, at this time, I'm not going to be able to accept your plea. I will stay the bond at $500, and I have appointed the public defender to represent you.
And he is.
Yes, ma'am.
So you might be on probation. I don't want you to violate your probation, so you'll have to talk to your attorney about that in more detail, okay? That's why you're not presenting today.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Flores?
God bless you, Your Honor.
Mr. Flores, this is 23 MO 246. You were arrested because you failed to appear on your disorderly conduct for plea and sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to resolve the case today, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
And it is going to be concurrent, so 5 days. Your Honor, for both of his cases, the 2023 MO 246 and 2023 MO 380, the state has offered an adjudication of guilt 5 days in Orange County Jail, credit for time served to run concurrent.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Flores, you also have 23 MO 380, which is disorderly conduct.
Yes,
And there's a
ma'am.
probable cause for that offense as well. Did you have an opportunity to review the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights on the form?
No, ma'am.
Are you currently on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea in both cases, sentence you to 5 days in the Orange County Jail
Thank you, ma'am.
with credit for time served. Okay, so you've got credit for 3 days on the failure to appear case, and you'll have credit for 2 days on the new, 2 days on the new case. Mr. Flores, I know that's distracting.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The 3 days?
You have credit for 3 on one and 2 on another.
Okay, so
Okay,
that's.
so you do like 2 more days,
2 more days? I'll be done?
right?
Thank you.
And then you won't have any cases, I don't think.
That's what she's saying? Yeah, that's what should be, 3 most.
So just listen, you're gonna have to pay court costs though on both cases.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll give you a year to get both of those paid, otherwise you need to see the clerk for a payment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Thank you, Your
Thanks, sir.
Honor. God bless you.
You too, sir.
Most 3, yeah. Mhm. Sorry, Your Honor, apologize.
Ms. Grimlett or Grimfelt? Hello. Hi, Ms. Grimfelt. This is 21 MM786. You failed to appear for your plea hearing on December 8th for the offense of petty theft. Is there an offer for Ms. Grimfelt?
Yes, there is. The offer from the state for this one is a withhold of adjudication credit for time served and no return to Universal.
Ms. Grimfelt,
Oh,
did
and
you?
cost of investigation, I apologize.
What's that amount?
$70.70 to OPD.
Got it. Ms. Grimfelt, did you want to accept that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have an opportunity to read the plea form?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights on the form?
I can't pay the $70 today.
You don't have to. I'm gonna give you a year to pay all the fines and costs, okay?
Did I get out today?
You,
As long as nothing else is.
is this, yes, Megan?
She doesn't have anything else.
Okay, yes, you will be released today.
Thank you. I make a phone call for someone to pick me up? Sorry, I'm from New Jersey. I'll be lost out here.
That's okay. Ms. Grimfelt, as I was stating before, I think I asked you if you were on probation.
No.
Okay, and do you understand if you're not a US citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay, so at this time, I am going to accept your plea, withhold adjudication, sentence you to 4 days in the Orange County Jail. You've got credit for 4 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs, including the cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $70.70. You're not to return to Universal, and I'll give you 1 year to pay your court costs. Otherwise, you need to see the clerk of the court for a payment plan. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. With everything. Thank you. Safe travels back.
Thank you.
Hi there. Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman, this is 21 MM 8412. You failed to appear for court for a status hearing on January 30th.
I apologize about that. I forgot.
It's okay.
I totally forgot.
Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna release you today, okay? Let me see something really quick before I actually.
And Your Honor, I believe Your Honor is aware, but just in case there was a notice and a finding of incompetence by the court. There is a finding. I believe it was on, my notes say that it was on July 13th, 2022, if the clerks want to confirm.
That's every 6 months old, so has there been another one?
It doesn't matter either way. She's been found incompetent by the court until there's a hearing, a finding of competency. She's deemed incompetent by the court. So it doesn't matter. That only matters for purposes of evaluations, whether they're stale or not, to be relied on for future findings.
And so there's no status?
She missed her status, and there will be a new status after this, yeah. It's an FTA.
Yeah, she was adjudicated incompetent to proceed on July 13th of 2022. Okay. So I need to give her a comp status date in Division 82. Do you have that sheet? Can I see it? No, I'm gonna hold this.
And Your Honor, I don't know if how this is done down here, since there's already a finding of incompetency, I don't know if she needs to go back to the trial court first, or if, since she's on conditional release, if she can be sent to Lattimore's court. Lattimore has a problem-solving court specifically for those who are found incompetent. Once they are found incompetent and placed on conditional release, judges have been transferring the cases to her courtroom, so I don't know if it would save a step if we just send it straight to Lattimore, or if that's even possible.
Is that a circuit court? So this
Yes,
is
Your
a
Honor.
county court case, though, so I.
Oh, I apologize. Your Honor, I apologize. My brain is, I came from mental health and my brain is in circuit court, so never mind. That would not work for this one.
I wish that we had that, actually. That would be a fantastic if there's, that would be great. And I would do that. But right now, I'm gonna actually, Ms. Fritchell, will you go see her? Or maybe you can keep her up here. I'm gonna email Judge Wishes, JA, and get the comp status date that she will need to appear at.
Okay.
It's not on this list here.
So she will, but she will get released ROR, and we're just waiting for that date so that she has it.
That's correct.
Okay. Can you hold her back there until we
Even though this is an FTA?
I legally cannot hold her.
she's been found incompetent to proceed?
What? Well, it's illegal, so. I know that because I just did this research on Monday.
So hang tight, and I'm gonna let you know when your court date is, okay? I'll write it down on here for you.
Okay. Millhouse?
Your Honor, with regard to 2007 MM 556E, it's a failure to appear, but the underlying charge is a possession of less than 20 grams of cannabis and drug paraphernalia. State announces a null pros.
Okay, so Mr. Millhouse, the state has decided not to prosecute you for this, these offenses, so you will be released as to this case.
Right, thank you. I'm sorry I forgot about it 15 years ago.
No, it's
And
okay.
have a good day.
You too, sir.
They're all resolved now.
John Doe? You want to reset for tomorrow?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. You are here in 23 MO 382. You were arrested for camping. There's probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Edwards?
Your Honor, the offer for Mr. Edwards is adjudication of guilt credit for time served.
Mr. Edwards, did you want to accept that offer today, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have an opportunity to review the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation? Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
I do.
I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those are due 1 year from today, or see the clerk of the court for a payment plan.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Morgan? You want to reset that one as well?
Yes, Your Honor, there is an offer to resolve.
Sure.
And, Your Honor, for Mr. Murphy, that's another one with an offer to resolve.
Sure, no problem. We'll
Yes,
reset
we'd
it.
ask to reset.
No problem. Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Williams, good afternoon. This is 23 MO 385. You were arrested for open container. There's probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt credit for time served.
How does that sound, Mr. Williams?
Sound good to me.
You want to accept it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you have a chance to review that plea form?
Yes, I,
Do you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights on the form?
no, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No,
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
yes.
I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty,
Okay.
sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served.
Okay, thank you.
You'll have to pay court costs due 1 year from today or see the clerk for a payment plan.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pettit?
Petit.
Mr. Petit, did I see you yesterday?
Actually, yeah, you did.
Okay. Did you even leave?
Nah, you revoked my bond, man.
Oh, I didn't remember. I just wondered if they served you with this.
Your Honor.
Petit, do you have any interest in trying to resolve this driving case today?
Yeah, that's what I was told I'll get a plea for time served.
Is that correct?
Oh,
I do want him to be aware that other things appear to currently be holding him, but for this case, we can resolve today.
All right, but did you look at his driving record?
Your Honor, I did not pull up his driving record. I did inform him that a third one would be a felony. I also informed him about habitual traffic offender as well.
Okay. Do you understand all of those potential collateral consequences?
yes, I understand. That's what I was asking her. Am I under that? Is it my third driver's license? I don't believe so. Yeah, that's what, 5 years?
Okay.
That's why I was asking if that jeopardized me making it a felony.
Who's the- I got you.
You've got a lot of them, so this one isn't going to habitualize. It can already be filed as a felony. It doesn't look like they ever did, but you've got, I mean, I'm just counting here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be number 6.
But if it's times,
If you resolve it today.
yeah, I would like to resolve it today then.
Did you read the plea form?
Yeah, Your Honor, I have one more request. If so, I mean, I know you seen me yesterday. I came in here for burglary, auction structured from my sister. I mean, it's a long story, but
Just don't talk about
it
the
was
facts of the
more.
case.
No, it's not about the facts of the case. It's more on the infractions that you revoked it. I was trying to see if any way I can get the bond back. I'll take GPS or anything because I go to chiropractic now. I had an accident that I was in months ago, and I'm still dealing with it with Dan Newton. And then like being inside jail is not helping me at all. So if it's a situation, can request for like a GPS type of bond or anything to get back on my feet, man. I'm homeless and I just got on the verge of getting a job and everything. So I'm trying to get back right on my feet now.
I don't have all of the info. I can't just impromptu hear a bond hearing. It's not fair to the state or even to the PD to do that. So you need to have them file a bond motion on whatever case it was that I revoked the bond.
For the infractions.
Huh?
For the infraction. It was 2 infractions that I was out on bond.
They were,
Not the case that I came in for.
No, I understand.
Oh, I have to.
You need to have them file their criminal cases if there was bond related to them. So you'd need your lawyers to file motions on those cases to have the bond set. Okay, I have to have notice to
In fact, I don't even know what lawyer. I don't know if that was a case. I don't even know my PD or anything for those cases at all.
So Ms. Fritchell's gonna give you that information so that you can call them today, okay?
All right, yes, ma'am.
So while she's doing that, we'll do your plea. Did you read the plea form?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights you're giving up?
No, I just like to plead non-contest. No contest.
You understand the rights there on the form?
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
I was born in Florida. I'm a citizen.
All right, so I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 4 days? 9? Sentence you to 9 days in the county jail with credit for 9 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due 1 year from today, or you'll need to see the clerk of the court for a payment plan.
Your Honor, as he's not getting out, it should be 1 year from his date of release.
That's correct.
Thank you.
John, will you put that?
So you're going to take this, you're going to contact the defender's office. You do have 1 year from your release is when you'll have to pay fines, is what she was saying. She was helping you out. So just so you're aware, your attorneys are Benjamin Weber, and we don't have the attorney assigned for the other one, so just call our office and we'll tell you, okay?
You, Mr. Romano? Mr. Romano, you are here in 20 CT 359. You failed to appear on your driving while license suspended case for plea and sentence. Was there an offer conveyed to Mr. Romano?
Yes. The offer conveyed for this one was an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served. He wishes to resolve today. There is a hold. I can't confirm what will happen with that hold. We can ask and see if the clerks can confirm. He does have a hold on him, and we just wanted to check what the hold was for.
It's for Seminole County.
It's for an FTA in Seminole. So he has a no bond, so he'll go over to Seminole then.
So they're saying that you do have something in Seminole County, so they're going to transport you over there when this one's resolved. Okay? Does that change
So,
anything?
Mr. Romano, it's my understanding you want to accept the plea of an adjudication of guilt and credit for time served. Is that correct? Okay. And did Ms. Fritchell talk to you about the fact that if you have 2 prior convictions for driving while license suspended, it can eventually be enhanced to a felony, and that you may also become a habitual traffic offender?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you currently on probation? Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 4 days in the county jail with credit for 4 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due 1 year from your date of release from custody, and or you'll need to see the clerk of the court for a payment plan.
You know how long it'll take for the transfer
So they'll probably be here tomorrow to get you.
tomorrow?
Thank you, sir. Good luck. Villalobos?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you were here in 23 CT 2016. You were arrested for providing a false ID to law enforcement and driving while license suspended. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You also have 23 MM 1968. You were arrested for providing false ID to law enforcement and driving while license suspended. I'm reading, hold on.
Your Honor, with regard to 23 MM 1935, it's 3 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia. State announces a no information.
Thank you. So you'll be released as to that case. Ms. Eugene, can you help me out with the difference in these 2 cases?
I only have it as one. It's one with 2 counts, providing false ID to law enforcement and the dwellers. Do you have them separately?
I have 2 separate cases. So Miss Eugene, I have 23 CT 2016, where he's arrested for providing false ID in Dwillis. And then I have 23 MM 1968. He's also arrested for providing false ID in Dwillis, and it's the exact same narrative. So,
One moment.
I don't know what statute that really, whatever traffic citation come with misdemeanor. Separate them, give them two different case numbers. So one citation is just for the Willis, and then the other one is just for the misdemeanor.
okay, so.
You know, I know both of them show.
Yeah, okay, so I guess in 23 CT 2016, correct, I would just, there shouldn't be, well, I guess whoever gets assigned the case downtown is gonna need to file a motion to have them consolidated. But I'm gonna ROR the providing false ID on 2016. Well, is he resolving these cases potentially?
I'm sorry?
Was there an offer made to him on these cases?
No, Your Honor, it was not. I think it's based on the Dwillis. He has a prior Dwillis conviction, Your Honor, so.
Okay.
At this time, no, there was not an offer.
No problem.
2106 is not a misdemeanor.
I know.
I mean, I'm saying it's not on the order, it's they separate them.
Let me see.
We have one for the Willis, and then we have one for this, we have to separate it. Because the officer should be two.
Okay, but on the order, there's just one
Yes, for the
count for each case.
You don't want to just think.
I got it. I get it. I've just never seen it before, so I was confused. So I don't need to do anything with the providing false ID on the CT case? Okay. Right. It's not a problem. I'm RORing the 23 CT 2016. That's gonna be ROR. 23 MM 1968, bond is $500.
Traffic.
Are we good?
Should just be that.
In the peanut gallery, we didn't get that.
The CT, the Willis is RR, and the other one is 500.
The MM 1968. So on their orders, there are not two counts. There's just the misdemeanor count and just the traffic count.
Okay, so.
Mr. Villalobos, you cannot drive without a valid driver's license.
So just. Uh-huh. So the Dwillis is the 500?
No.
No.
Okay, all right.
So on your Dwillis form, it's gonna read ROR, ROR on your CT case.
Okay.
It's gonna say ROR, ROR, and then on your MM case, it's gonna say 500 ROR.
Okay.
Because it should be one affidavit, well, in theory.
Right, I think they have only one affidavit.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. Well, it's not your fault, Sharon. It's no one's fault, it's just, it is what it is. You're all set, sir. Thank you. It's never a dull moment. Ms. Bates?
Your Honor.
All right. I will reappoint the public defender in the event that they were not previously appointed. This is 22 CF 10160. She failed to appear for court. Her bond is stayed at none. Mr. Brown?
Your Honor, I do have a PC argument for this
Okay,
one.
just 1 second. This is 23 CF 3693. Sir, you were arrested for attempted burglary of a dwelling and criminal mischief. Ms. Virgil?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense would be arguing that there's no probable cause for the burglary portion, at most maybe a trespass. There was no intent to commit a crime therein. At one point, he actually lived in the home. He had property in the home, and it does not seem that there was any intention to commit some type of crime. Therefore, at the most, there's probable cause for trespass, not for the burglary.
Ms. Eugene?
Your Honor, there was criminal mischief as he admitted to breaking the glass. Therefore, there is a crime therein. And his permission to stay at the home was revoked by the homeowner.
The criminal mischief does count as the crime. So probable cause is established as to the attempted burglary of an occupied dwelling. Bond is set at $2,500 on count one, $100 on count two. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. And I'm gonna revoke your bond, sir, in 23 MM 1704. That's gonna be set at none. Thank you.
You'll have to contact your attorney and talk to them about that, okay?
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Nicholas Cheatham Starks.
Sir, this is 23 CF 1435. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for conspiracy to traffic in cocaine greater than 28 grams and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count one is $50,000. Your bond on count two is $1,500. You're not to possess any drugs or alcohol and no weapons or firearms.
And Your Honor, if I may be briefly heard by the court, I understand that this was via a probable cause warrant. However, at this time, defense did not have access to the affidavit. Probable cause is an ongoing situation. We would ask to actually reset this one and have the state provide us a copy of that affidavit to confirm probable cause.
Yeah, but I need it back. Yes, I will provide you a copy and I need it back.
Can you print her the affidavit?
I'm doing it now, Your Honor, so we don't need to.
Okay. Do you guys not have access to Odyssey?
Your Honor, it didn't come up on Odyssey for me. I don't know if maybe I entered something wrong, but I checked multiple times and it wasn't coming up.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm reading this pretty quickly, and I may have read it wrong, but for the record, again, I know that this was a probable cause warrant signed by a judge. However, a defense would be arguing lack of probable cause to the conspiracy portion. It looks like everything was relied on via text, and I don't know if any actual physical evidence or any connection, and again, I apologize if I missed something reading it fast, Your Honor, any actual connection besides those texts or any actual drugs were located with regards to the conspiracy to traffic cocaine. So we'd be arguing lack of probable cause for that.
Okay. Ms. Eugene?
Your Honor, I also am reading it quickly, as probable cause had already been found, but there is a text message conversation that is included in the affidavit, and it also states that Mr. Cheatham Starks purchased 28 grams of soft. I would say that the probable cause had been met, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, Again, all there is a text conversation. There's nothing further to show that any actual drugs were purchased or sold. Things can be said in text. Did I overlook something? Things can be said in text and that don't actually happen.
I believe that based upon the affidavit that was issued, or that was written in order to establish a probable cause, does sufficiently establish probable cause at this time, so I'm not going to disturb the previous.
Understood.
Okay, so bond has already been set. Thank you, sir.
About it in more detail.
All right, well, I'm going to waive her appearance based upon her inability to come to court. I will appoint.
And there
the
is a
public-
PC argument for this one. I apologize.
On Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Sure, no problem. Just give me 1 second here. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent her on all of her cases. I'm revoking the bonds in 23 CF 28, well, hold on 1 second. I'm revoking the bond in 23 CF 287. That'll be set at none. Can't take any action on 22 CF 12. Oh, yes, I can.
I apologize. Which one was revoked?
Well, I'm revoking both, 22 CF 12079 and 23 CF 287. Both of those will be set at none. Did you have a probable cause argument as to the new law offense in 23 CF 3694?
Yes, Your Honor, with regards to the alleged escape.
Yes.
Your Honor, with regards to the alleged escape, if you look at the statute, it's specific to some form of correctional institute. At that time, we'd be arguing that it couldn't have been an escape because she was not in any type of correctional institute or facility. At most, it'd be resisting without.
Ms. Eugene?
I have to double check that, Your Honor. I have to double check that, Your Honor, I do.
Okay.
And I do have a copy of the statute, and it reads, escapees penalties, any prisoner confined in or released on furlough from any prison, jail, private correctional facility, road camp, or other penal institute, whether operated by the state or county, so on and so forth. So indicating it would have to be one of those institutes.
No objection, Your Honor.
But the second part of that says, or being transported to or from a place of confinement, which she's being transported to the Orange County Jail. So I believe that there's probable cause.
I apologize, Your Honor.
It's okay. I find that there is probable cause for all of the offenses in that affidavit. Bond on count 1 is going to be $5,000. Bond on count 2, 150, 3, 150, 4, 150. And then she was arrested in 23 CF 35850 pursuant to a probable cause warrant for robbery of the firearm, aggravated assault, and grand theft of a motor vehicle. Did you want to have the bond hearing in Division 15 with respect to count 1, the PBL, robbery of the firearm?
Yes, Your Honor, we would reserve our right to have an Arthur hearing.
Okay, and then I'll set bond at $10,000 on count 2, stay bond at $500 on count 3.
No contact with the victim?
And no contact with the victim, no weapons or firearms. And then she has 23 CF 1579. She was arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for failure to redeliver hired vehicle. The bond in that matter is $1,500, and she's not to return to the scene of the offense. Cummings? All right, I will find a waiver of Mr. Cummings' appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. I will appoint the public defender to represent him. He was arrested in 23 CF 3708 for possession of cocaine and trespassing. There is probable cause. Bond on count 1 is 1,000. Bond on count 2 is 500.
Thank you.
Mr. or Miss Denmark? All right. Mr. Domingos?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Domingos, you were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for fleeing and eluding. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
You hired an attorney, Madam Clerk, in your honor, he's saying that he hired a private attorney who's supposed to be here.
Who'd you hire, Mr. Domingos?
I'm not sure my parents were supposed to be here with.
Let me see if I have an email. I do not. I am happy to reset your case if you want me to. I was going to place you on pretrial release because you qualify for pretrial release. Do you want to do that? And then you can get in touch with your parents and your lawyer? Okay, so that's what we'll do. The condition I'm going to put on your pretrial release is that you are not to drive unless you have a valid driver's license. Okay? Thank you, sir. Sir, good afternoon. Are you Mr. Hall?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hall, you were here in 23 CF 3383. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for robbery with a firearm and aggravated assault with a firearm. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim, return to the location, or possess any weapons or firearms. Bond on count 2 is $25,000. Bond on count 3 is $25,000. And then, Ms. Fritchell, did you want to have his Arthur hearing down in Division 10?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd reserve our right to have an Arthur hearing.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. Correct.
And take this with you?
Yes. Okay, I will find a waiver
Your Honor, there was a probable cause argument for this one.
on Hayes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I will still find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court and appoint the public defender in 23 CF 3707. Go ahead, Ms. Fitchell.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe the substance in question was not found on Mr. Haynes in this case. Neither was the paraphernalia tested. The specific paraphernalia found could be used for legal purposes. Therefore, without it being tested, we'd argue there's no probable cause. And the fact that the drugs weren't found on him, we would also argue the same thing, that there's a lack of probable cause.
Is this Levon Hayes? Haynes, Haymes, is that? Okay. The third line from the bottom where it says I conducted a NIC test and it was suspected MDMA, which field tested presumptive positive for MDMA?
Was that not the MDMA? I'm specifically talking about the paraphernalia.
Right.
The glass pipe?
That the paraphernalia was not tested, correct. I didn't, not that the MDMA was not tested, it was that the MDMA was not found on his person.
She's saying that they didn't test the pipe and that the MDMA was not found on him. That's her argument.
That's a defense, Your Honor, so it doesn't go towards probable cause. And the glass pipe, if it wasn't tested, sure, fine.
All right. So at this time, I do find that there is probable cause. I will leave bond set at 1,000 on count 1 and 500 on count 2. I'm not going to take any action on his out on bond case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Highland bonded, Your Honor?
Okay. Mr. Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
This is 23 CF 3698. You were arrested for burglary of an unoccupied dwelling. I will
And
appoint a
there, sorry. I was gonna
public defender to represent you. Did you have a probable cause challenge?
Yes, Your Honor, I
Okay.
apologize for
No problem.
interrupting.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, with regard to this one, defense would be arguing that there is no probable cause to support the burglary in this case, at most a trespass. There was no intent to commit a crime therein. We understand that, I believe in this one, there may have been an alleged broken window. There is nothing tying that window to Mr. Jones. He is not here for any criminal mischief charges. Therefore, at most, this would be a trespass. Specifically, even in the police report, his statement is that he was looking for a place to sleep, no intent to commit a crime therein.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay.
I do find that there is a trespass. It's a lesser included, and I have the statute number if the court agrees.
Perfect. Yeah, it does say that the victim said the window was previously broken. Okay. Could you give us the statute number?
Sure. 810.08 sub 2 sub A.
Excellent. Just trespass. Mr. Jones,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to release you today on your own recognizance. Do you know where the courthouse is
Yes, yes, ma'am.
on Orange Avenue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You generally stay in the downtown area?
No, I live by, Taft Avenue.
Okay, not too far.
Not too far. No, I can get there, no problem.
Okay. And then your, Ms. Fritchall's given you that green sheet that's going to have the public defender's information on there. You need to call them,
Yes, ma'am.
all right? And make sure you appear at all your court dates.
Yes.
Can't return to the scene either. You can't go back to that house.
Yes, I'm, it was
Okay.
old.
You don't have to say anything. I'm just saying
Yes,
don't go
please,
back there,
yeah.
okay?
Don't talk about anything.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Jordan? Sir, good afternoon. You are here in 23 CF 3667. You were arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of a controlled substance without a prescription. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to leave bond set at 1,000 on count one, 100 on count two, and I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case. Thank you, sir.
As long as nothing else is holding you, she didn't touch the out on bond, she didn't revoke it, so as long as there's nothing else, then no. As long as you can bond out.
Are you Mr. Lara? Mr. Lara, this is 23 CF 3689. You were arrested for possession of MDMA, possession of a prescription drug without a prescription, 2 counts. There is probable cause.
Your Honor,
Go
we'd
ahead.
argue against probable cause for that one.
For what?
Your Honor, there may be a prima facie case of probable cause. However, at that time, Mr. Lara rebutted that by stating that he had a prescription for those items. However, it was not further looked into, and for that reason, we would argue that there's a lack of probable cause for those specific counts.
Okay, so that may be a potential defense to that, but I don't believe that law enforcement has a duty or obligation to inquire or try to find the prescription. That'd be the burden of Mr. Lara. So I do find that there is probable cause as to those 2 offenses. Bond on count 1 is 1,000. Bond on count 2 is going to be 100. Bond on count 3 is going to be, oh, hold on. Mr. Lara, you also have, 23 CF 3690, where you were arrested for burglary of an occupied structure and resisting officer without violence. There's probable cause in that case as well. The public defender will be appointed to represent you on all of the cases. I'm going to place you on pre-trial release. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to return to the scene. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription, sir.
And Your Honor, to clarify, is that pretrial release for all counts? Okay.
For both cases.
For both cases, sorry. stay in touch with your pretrial police officer and with the public defender's office, okay? Good luck. Yeah, of course. Good luck with everything.
Mr. Ledsma? And I'll find a waiver on, for Mr. Ledsma based upon his inability to come to court due to his behavior in 23 CF 3692. He was arrested for possession of heroin. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent him. Bond is $1,000. Ms. Martinez? I'll find a waiver of her appearance as well based upon her inability to come to court. In 23 CF 3700, she was arrested for aggravated assault with a weapon. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent her. She's not to have any contact with either of the victims. She is not to possess any weapons or firearms, and her bond is $1,500. Mr. Pendarvis? Mr. Ramos Hernandez? Is that you, sir? This is 23 CF 3695. You were arrested for possession of MDMA and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable
Your Honor,
cause-
we have a probable cause argument for the drug paraphernalia. I believe it's the same situation. The paraphernalia itself was not tested and can be used for illegal substances as well.
Ms. Eugene?
One moment, Your Honor.
Did you have any case law, Ms. Fritchell? Because it's my understanding that the paraphernalia doesn't in fact have to be tested, and the circumstances surrounding how it was found can be considered. So although that may be a defense, I believe for purposes of probable cause, the standard is whether a reasonable person would believe under the facts and circumstances whether the crime has been met or committed. And so unless there's some case law that states that in order to establish probable cause that the paraphernalia has to be tested, I think the standard would be met.
Understood, Your Honor. I'll be sure to have case law in the future if needed.
Okay. So I do find probable cause for both of the offenses. I'm going to appoint the public defender, and Mr. Ledsma, where are you staying now, sir? Pardon me?
Homeless.
All right, do you stay near the downtown area? Yes? You have to answer my questions for me, sir, out loud.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Ramos. I apologize. I was a little confused.
Oh, I know that, I'm sorry, Mr. Ramos, I'm looking at Mr. Ledsma's face sheet. I didn't move forward. Thank you. All right, so bond, did I already say this? Bond on count 1 is 1,000, bond on count 2 is 500. Thank you, sir.
Take this with you. Stay in touch with us, okay?
Is this Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Smith, you were here in 23 CF 3593. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for aggravated assault with a firearm and possession of a concealed weapon or firearm by a convicted felon. I will appoint the public defender to represent you.
And Your Honor, we'd just be asking that a reasonable bond be put in place.
Okay, I don't know what a reasonable bond would be. So if you wanted to swear Mr. Smith in, I'm happy to take his testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Fritchell.
Mr. Smith, if you were to bond out, how much would you be able to afford?
I could pay, I already got a $2,500 bond. I can pay $800 to $1,000 as in today.
And do you have any family in the area?
Yes, I have a mom in the area.
And any other family? And your 2 sisters, you said? How long have you lived in the area?
Over 5 years,
Are you currently employed?
self-employed.
Your Honor, no further questions at this time.
Nothing from the state.
Mr. Smith, what kind of work do you do?
I do a little pressure wash business with my uncle, but it's not like it's underground. I'm getting paid underground, like under the table type.
You said your mom lives here. Where does your mom live?
She live in 1434 Mercy Drive.
All right, I'm gonna set bond on count 1 at 2,500. I'm gonna stay the bond on count 2 at 2,500. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You're not to have any contact with the victim.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Mr. Soto? Yes? Mr. Soto, you are here in 23 CF 3685. You were arrested for grand theft and uttering a false instrument. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I also find probable cause for both of the offenses. Bond on count 1 is 150. Bond on count 2 is going to be 1,500. You're not to have any contact with the victims, and you're not to return to the scene. Thank you, sir. Is this Mr. Suarez Diaz?
Yes. Good evening.
No, it's getting,
It's
it's
a
be late
blur.
afternoon.
It's a blur here.
Sir, this is 20 CF 10705. You failed to appear for court at a status hearing on February 8th of this year. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in that case if they were not previously appointed. Thank you.
Your Honor, he's just asking about a bond, and I'm explaining that it was a failure to appear in front of another judge, and you're probably going to want the other judge to address it.
The other judge has to address it, yeah.
They have to just.
They do, that's the law.
You can talk to the attorney about it more. She's not able to touch it today, so nothing's going to change. Contact your attorney, and they'll help you out with that, okay?
I don't know who my attorney is.
Give this number a call or jail mail to the public defender's office, and they'll get in touch with you, okay?
So there's no way I can get a bond on this.
I can't set a bond for you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you Mr. Sullivan? Sir? I'm up here.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
I'm hard of hearing.
Oh, we have some headphones that we can get for you. Mr. Sullivan, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. This is 23 CF 3663. You were arrested for possession of MDMA. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender. Mr. Sullivan, I'm considering releasing you on your own recognizance. My information sheet here indicates that you've been staying down at the Coalition. Is that correct?
Yes, that's a great resource for me. It's kind of all I have in the city right now.
Okay, do you know where the Orange County Courthouse is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you have a phone?
Yes, I do.
So you'll need to make sure that you get your phone number to the public defender so that they know how to get in contact with you for your court date.
Okay.
All right, and you'll need to make sure that you appear at all of your court dates, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's okay? Good luck with it. Stay in touch with us, this number right here. Contact us, okay? That way you don't miss any court dates or anything. Good luck.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is 23 CF 3704. You were arrested for possession of cocaine. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Thompson,
Yes, ma'am.
you're working for Carlot Construction?
Or hat.
You are?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was, but since I'm locked up now, so
Are you living 6545 Coral Cove?
yes, ma'am.
All right, how long have you been there?
Right over, that's about 4 or 5 years. A little better.
Sure. So, Mr. Thompson, I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to make sure you stay in touch with the public defender so you know about your next court date. I'm also gonna order that you're not to return to the scene. And you need to appear at all your court dates, sir.
Ma'am.
You need to appear at all your court dates.
Okay, okay. I sure will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're gonna get released on your own recognizance. Us, so we can stay in touch with you and tell you about future court dates, okay?
I got it.
So, yep, you should get, yep, be proactive though and contact us, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir.
And Your Honor, this is the one we are waiting on the court date. She's to be released ROR. We are waiting, I believe, was it Division 82?
Did Miss Warren bond?
And Your Honor, just so everyone's aware, this is Keena Hickman. I got that right, right?
Oh, my goodness.
I think we
You have booking number?
have Franklin Williams, but that's it.
Sent it, so Judge Wish's Judge Wish's JA is a previous clerk, and they haven't taken her email address out of the system, so I emailed her at her old email address.
Probably.
7332?
You'll be right back here, right? We're trying to avoid all of that for our,
They surety bonded.
so we're trying, that's why we're holding you.
Hey, Sharon, can I see that sheet again? Blue 61550. I sent it to the wrong email address, so you just ask her if we can get a comp status date. Oh, yeah. 61550.
Yes.
They're just looking at court dates and trying to, I know. You are gonna get out today.
Oh. Oh, that's okay. Could I get a comp status date for, it's not on the. Today that. I did. did. It's just that I sent it to her old address. She looking for that. I wasn't looking. But I'll get it taken care of. I appreciate it. No, you're nothing to be sorry about. Okay, thank you. Bye. Got it. 4/11 at 9 a.m. Comp status, 4/11 at 9 a.m.
This is gonna be yours, April 11th at 9 a.m. Okay?
Thank you.
And call that number, okay? Stay in touch.
And court will be adjourned.